All right, so we're gonna take a look at the Week 2 game against the Giants, home opener up here in Dallas. Coming out on the center and then quickly shifting. It's now shotgun. And the way this game got started, I actually really was encouraged by the fact that they gave Dak this quick throw to the flat. In the past, I have worried about Dak's ability to get the ball out to the flat on time and on target. He tends to get it there a tick late, and he doesn't really put it in the greatest spot for the player receiving the ball to actually do much with it after the catch. So I think this was a case where he actually got it out in time and on target. So I thought that was awesome. All right, so we have a trips look on this second play, 2nd and 3. Motion the receiver in and back out. Lovely. We're going to see more of this power run. We saw it in week 1. And as we talked about in week 1, your down blocks are going to create a wall, and then you're going to get a wham, who's going to block the C gap defender, and you are going to get a wrap, who is meant to climb up to the first, second level defender. Both of those blocks were executed nicely on this play. Unfortunately, Javonte Williams trips up going through the hole. There's your wham. There's your wrap. 2 really executed blocks. Javonte Williams tripped up on the legs of the offensive lineman, limiting this to a 2-yard gain. Now, on this 3rd-and-1, we're going to be unsuccessful. It's very unfortunate. And the reason is, this is actually drawn up pretty nicely to get 1 yard. You have the handoff because this was an option. He chose not to take advantage of it, and that's fine. He went instead with the stick concept. Now, he was rushed. Dak was rushed getting the ball out. Otherwise, he might have noticed CD was actually the best option on this stick route. CD ends up coming open. Jake Ferguson doesn't. But again, Dak didn't have any time. So 4th-and-1, we're going to QB sneak here. And this was the one where the officials threw the delay of game flag. It was a questionable flag at best because usually the officials do give you a tick to still snap that ball once the clock hits 0. They didn't let Dallas do it here. It's an unwritten rule. We can't really argue about it. We got to just move on to the next play and the next drive. All right, so we got a zone run, and it was blocked nicely up until Smith started to lose his anchor. We're going to take a look at that. So you see right here, and Smith's going against Dexter Lawrence. So losing this wrap isn't the worst thing in the world, but if you're Javonte Williams, you're receiving this ball, and you already know where you want to go. Everything's blocked up lovely. Look at this double team. Cooper BB is climbing up to the 2nd level, and my man Smith has control of Dexter Lawrence, at least at this point. As we roll forward, you'll see right here, this is where Dexter now he gets leverage. He has his arms where he wants them, and he's lower. So they're resetting because Smith initially got great position, but as they reset, Dexter takes control of this wrap, and he's going to just get rid of Smith, make this tackle for a short gain. Now, if any of you watched the week 1 video, you'll remember this motion. We saw this motion on more than one run and more than one run concept. We saw it paired with a power run. We saw it, in fact, the opening play of the season, our our very first snap, this was used with a Y zone. So now this is the benefit of watching every game and breaking down every game. You're able to start to see where concepts are building, where the team is tying things together. So we're using this same motion and as a part of a run fake for a play action pass. Now, where this falls apart to me is this ball. You see the ball out and back into Dak's hand. If you're a defender here, you see that too. This ball's not really fooling anybody, if you will, right? So if you're on the second level watching this, it's very easy for you to react and get in position, which is exactly what happens. So I think maybe if right here these two are a little bit closer and you can actually see the ball disappear into Javante's gut a little bit, maybe this guy gets fooled a little bit, but it was it was I think too telegraphed. Looking at it from the other angle, watch number 8. See, number 8 was on it the whole time, right? All right, we got some more motion. Now this rep to me, you have two deep development routes, which is lovely. CD and Pickens. You're gonna see the two of them are gonna be out here, and these routes are gonna be crossing at the top, something like this, right? Lovely. Everything else is coming underneath. The interesting thing for me is the position that we put the tackles in, and I want to see how this develops in terms of whether the tackles get better, whether the tackles get benched, or whether the scheme does a better job protecting the tackles. These tackles, Guyton especially, struggle in space. So when they have to do what's called a vertical set, which means they're dropping back and they're allowing the defender to come to them a little bit, you're on an island now. It's one on one. You're in space. Guyton struggles mightily in that regard, and Terrence Steele hasn't been doing great either. So this rep, even worse, is going to put them in that terrible space because what's going to happen is my tight end here is going to block and then release. My tight end here is going to block and then release, right? But what those two blocks do, they're supposed to help the offensive lineman, but because these guys struggle in space so much, they actually hurt the offensive lineman because it creates more space. So if you're going to do that, these routes probably need to be a little bit shorter. You probably need to be cutting these routes off here so that by the time these guys get into the tackles, you're ready to get this ball out. But if you're expecting the tackles to make these blocks in space, these tackles who struggle in space, in order to be able to make these throws down the field, you're going to have to try something different. This just absolutely won't work. So let's take a look. Again, let's watch the tight ends make these blocks. And they actually do a great job. Look, this is wonderful. And then you get out. But now look at what happens. Look at Guyton on this island, waiting for Burns to come and burn him. And then you got Terrence still over here in the exact same position. These routes are still developing. And now here you go. Steele gets smoked. Dak has to step forward. And here's the thing. Steele gets beat deep. So Dak has to step forward. And then Burns is able to come under Guyton. So there's no way Dak had a chance on this one. And this is what I'm saying here. So you're going to come this way. Dak's going to step forward. And then Burns is going to come this way. So Dak just has to get out of there. All the way out of there. 1, step forward. 2, run. There's nothing more. Run for your life. Right? And do I blame the offensive linemen? Sure, because they need to do a better job. But this is also on coaching and knowing your personnel. So I genuinely hope that if a scheme like this is drawn up again, we're putting them on that massive island, that it's a quicker developing play, or that you're just not putting them on that island at all. I do like everything else about the play. I like the fact that we're trying to go deep. You had 3 options underneath that, if you needed to, could probably catch and get you somewhere from 5 to 7 yards. So you're looking at a fourth down and one, or fourth and two, or possibly a first down. So it wasn't a bad play design in that regard, but protection is a big part of your play design. We can't just watch the games and think about wide receivers, quarterback, routes, passes. It's got to be protection too. It starts up front. All right, so this looks like duo. We gained a couple yards. Let's take a look. Yep, it's a duo run, so power without the puller. And we all know that this was going to be a part of the Cowboys offense based on the phone call that Booker had with his coach, duo, and all that ish. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, right? So if we get to 3, the center's going to block him. The guard's going to double on the center because the guard's man is 53. Tackles here. Guard is going to double because his man, now in this instance, is here. And then your tight end should take 51. Now, the way that DBs are handled by these wide receivers is entirely up to coaching, offensive coach, quarterback. They got to make those calls. But the guys in the box, this is how they're supposed to be blocked up. And so we see that's taking place. There goes the double team. You can see Smith is stepping this way to double team, but 98 is slanting this way. So Smith's going to climb straight up to 53. And then you see these single blocks just as we expected. Looks like the wide receivers are going to be taking the defensive backs. It's well blocked. It's well blocked. And this is a good job staying in the framework of the offense, putting your head down, picking up the yards that are there. There are a lot of reasons to like Javonte Williams, and one of the bigger ones for me, because I juxtaposed it against Miles Sanders. I'm sorry, Miles. Please start to prove me wrong. Javonte stays in the framework of the offense. Miles, at time to time, will avoid the gap he should be trying to hit in order to break a bigger run, and that has gotten him in trouble. But again, please, Miles, prove me wrong. Miles did do this. This is the Tuesday after the game against Chicago. So Miles did do, from what I could tell on first watch, a better job. I'm going to be looking at that game right after this one. Now, the thing I like here, we are given a little wide zone action, and the Cowboys do a great job running wide zone. But one of the things I like, and I mentioned this in week 1, is that you're moving the launch point. You're dropping your quarterback into this spot, and this is where he's going to be passing the ball from, right? So defensive lines are used to the quarterback being here, rolling out here, things along those lines. We see that all the time. But we're seeing the Cowboys using a lot of this. And it's great to mix up where your quarterback is going to be, especially if your tackles need some help. And watch Cooper Beebe here, because Cooper Beebe really makes this play happen. He's going to make his block. He's going to block 57, push 57 through 27, which gives Dak the time to make this play. I want to tell you, Cooper Beebe is your hero on this play. No mistake about it. So again, you're going to see Beebe. He's going to make his block. Then he's going to turn back around, find 57 here, and chase 57 down here, pushing him through the defensive back. And we'll watch all of that. There goes his initial block. Watch 57. This is the guy we want to watch right here. Cooper Beebe's going to turn around, block him. And this is by design. You are going to see Beebe do this some more. And there's one where it's absolutely clean. Like, it's perfect. There's no DB on the edge like there is here. Cooper Beebe just turns around, makes this block, and gives Dak the time he needs. Here, though, BB had to account for two persons. He accounts for one, he accounts for two. Dak is able to throw this ball relatively comfortably because of the efforts. The whole offensive line did their jobs. The whole offensive line did what they had to do. But had Cooper Beebe not gone above and beyond, and my goodness, are we going to miss out some Cooper Beebe and Tyler Booker for the next few weeks. But Cooper Beebe really saved that play. Here we go. This is See, because this game was 2 weeks ago, I forgot that it was the very next play where we see Cooper do the same thing, but it's a lot cleaner. So you're gonna see BB makes his block, turns around, picks up, was that 52? I can't tell. But Cooper's really doing a great job. He's a very, very agile lineman. And I think Clayton Adams actually deserves some praise here because he sees the pieces he has and he's using them accordingly. I want to look at it again. I love offensive line play, and I think it's masterful to watch BB at work sometimes. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, we got a little pistol action. And we're on a zone. So Javante Williams, every time I watch him, I can't help but talk about his vision and his patience. The way he finishes runs is evident to the whole world, but his vision and his patience to me is awesome, and his discipline, staying in the framework of the offense. You see what he does here is he's gonna break down a little bit and he's gonna press. See him pressing this run? This allows not only the defensive lineman who's being blocked, but also the linebacker. It holds them right here just long enough for this gap to open up, and now it allows Javante Williams to beat that linebacker to the spot. When you think about the fundamental things that running backs should do, and it feels weird saying this right after he gave up a insanely easy fumble, Javante Williams really could put on a clinic. And I'm not saying this because he's a cowboy. I'm saying this because I watch him run the ball and I see the contact balance, I see the vision, I see the patience. You see a running back playing in the scheme, whether it's wide zone, whether it's power. He just does a great job staying in the scheme of the game. He does what's asked of him and he does it right. And then he finishes the run strong. He's a very easy guy to like. And he's young. The knee looks good. Dallas, we really got us a good one. So a few times our power run, we were seeing this run getting blown up a little bit, and it was getting muddied right in the same spot, which was the wrap. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Schoonmaker on the wrap both times. He's on the wrap here. And what happens is 53, I think it was, is going to end up shooting down as soon as he sees what this run is. And it could be that the defensive coaches were prepared because they watched us do it last week. So he's going to shoot down here, and then 8 is going to replace and get to the edge. So you'll have 87. Oh, sorry. We're going to have our tight end, our Ram, get up and make that C-gap block. Our rep, when he's coming to that second level defender, that second level defender is going to be right here. Javante could try to bounce it outside, but that's where number 8 was there ready for him. So we're going to take a look at it from this angle, but we'll obviously look at it from the other angle as well. There's your wham, there's your wrap, and Javante's tied up, right? So again, looking at it from this angle, we're going to get us a little motion, and then we're going to get a block on the C-gap defender. We're going to get our rep who's coming up to block the second level defender. Now, the second level defender is going to actually meet you right around that C gap. And then number 8 is going to be right here waiting unblocked. You see, and I question the angles that Schoonmaker is using as he approaches these blocks as well. Because this was muddied up enough that if he were a little wider, He could lead Javante outside of all of this mud and block number 8. Trips. We're gonna get motion. Yeah, a lot of fans were bemoaning the fact that George Pickens didn't jump up and fight for this ball, but this ball wasn't in jump up and fight for position. It was too short. So he did what he could, try to reach his hands out and make the play, but he couldn't. It, if this ball is 2 yards deeper, Pickens probably has a better chance to make a play on it. But the fault isn't on Pickens there. Watching it live, you could see the ball was short. That's a Dak thing. It wasn't a bad throw, but it wasn't a great throw. Oh yeah, this was unfortunate. They mentioned it on the live broadcast. Javante trying to help blocked Thibodeau into that that A gap. He made it easier for him. But I want to notice, the thing I want you to notice here is my man Guyton. We talked about it. He's on an island. So let's look at Guyton. Just in case you weren't aware, Guyton's right there, your left tackle. He's on an island and he is going to fail, unfortunately. So there goes the vertical. He's doing a vertical set. And again, you got a little chip by that tight end. So he has a lot of room to work with against Guyton. Now, picture, if you will, Shaquille O'Neal standing at the 3 point line, ready to guard Kobe Bryant, right? I know they're on the same team. I watched a lot of basketball. I do know this. But I'm trying to give you a vision of how out of place Guyton feels right now. So you got this big man guarding the perimeter, and I'm coming at you with a head of steam, right? I'm dribbling up the court with the ball. So you're gonna get this hesitation and slam dunk because you got no business standing out here trying to stand between me and the hoop. You see this? That was absolute smoke, and Guyton. I don't blame Guyton because he should not be in this position. If the coaches don't know that this is a weakness, then we have problems. We have problems. So I really hope when I watch the Chicago tape, I see less and less of Guyton in this position. Watch it from this angle. Here you go. Look, this is Guyton's worst nightmare. Right here, this moment, Guyton's worst nightmare. Burns has free run at him, and he just smokes him. Oh, by the way, let's not let Terrence Steele off the hook. Terrence Steele on this one gets tossed like a rag doll. Look at 51. To be fair, Booker and Steele both struggled on the right side on this rack. And again, a lot of it is my boy Javante giving Thibodeau a bit of a head start on it. But that pass rap was terrible. Guyton more than anything. The my main takeaway there, because like I said, 3 offensive linemen were beat. But my main takeaway there, in terms of protection, is that Guyton need not be put in those positions. Little sidecar action. Okay, this was simple, but it could have actually been a whole lot bigger. So what's gonna happen, because they're playing man defense, when CD does this simple little bubble, he is gonna draw the attention of this guy because he's guarding CD. But this dude also starts to run. That leaves George Pickens to beat his man, and he does. There was enough space here that if Pickens wasn't tackled, he could have run this for a touchdown. It was a well-designed play. Great way to be cover one. But that safety was cheating. That safety was cheating. The ball is out, and the safety's way over here. Good pass, good catch, but could have been a bigger play. with trips, with motioning. I love the fake toss, fake pitch. Um, and it works because we've been running that pitch successfully. Javante Williams' fumble against the Bears, right? That fake pitch really does a good job moving these linemen and creating enough space for your tight end to get in that seam. And Jack's gonna make this throw successfully regardless. This just makes it a little bit easier. There's just another way to get there. It's beautifully executed, beautifully designed. Again, marrying the pass and the run. These are things that we're doing, right? And when we do this pitch, what do? Right? You have some pulling linemen. So look at this. We're gonna pull, pretend like we're blocking for the run, but no, we're not. We're not. See, so you're making it look like the run. This is excellent. Nice pitch and catch. Oh, getting the ball to the punt returner in space. This is going to be one of my things this season because it seems we are doing an excellent job getting Cavante Turpin the ball with all this space. What I want to see Tarp do sometimes, though, is just get the ball and be all the way out. Just sprint like hell. He does a great job with tempo, change of pace, and all those things. But I do think it gets him in trouble sometimes. And I think on this one, if he just sprinted like a bat out of hell, he might have put the defense in a little bit more of a bind there. We got flags on the play. I like the lead block action though. Giving George Pickens a chance. Now, week one, when I saw this play live, I was quickly reminded of week one. We discussed a CD Lamb catch, CD Lamb's big catch on the first drive, actually. It was one on one, and the DB was giving CD a similar a similar leverage, right? And we discussed how you can use a defense's rules against themselves. So CD, we'll draw it over here. So CD had this leverage, and he motioned in, which made the DB, let's say this was the DB, and this was CD now, right? So the DB took outside leverage. See right here, this DB over George Pickens has inside leverage. So because they did this motion, CD faked the post, ran the corner. What that created was a situation where the DB now, because the DB was given CD inside leverage, he had to jump on this fake because CD's faking to the spot where the DB is the weakest. So CD won that route, gained a whole lot of space. In this instance now, George. Oh, I'm sorry. My phone hears me saying CD and thinks I'm saying. Y'all know you have Apple iPhones. If you have an iPhone, you know. So anyway, so what happened now on this particular possession? George Pickens is going to run that same route. He's not going to motion. So your DB is going to maintain this inside leverage. When you see George come up and fake inside, because the defender already has leverage there, he doesn't have to bite so hard. He can stay disciplined, and it allows him to get back and make this play. See, not a bad run route, but the DB is not in position where he feels threatened by that inside fake. Again, this is why we like breaking down the film every week because we're able to see what things that the Cowboys are doing. I enjoyed this play, even though it went absolutely nowhere. It ended up drawing. Did this is this the one that drew a penalty? I think when the DB slammed CD Lamb down. Um, yeah, I just enjoy the fact that the Cowboys are trying things. We're gonna come out in trips. We're gonna motion into a pistol look with Turp in the backfield. All things you have to respect because Turp in the backfield with a lead blocker could be trouble. In fact, you could have two lead blockers, right? You have a tight end over here, you have a fullback over here. So this not only is a great idea to go ahead and try to pitch back, but it's a great idea at some point to implement this actual run. But it didn't fool anybody, and those are the breaks. When you run trick plays, they have to trick people, or they just don't work. Another power run, again. We see 86. 86 is just getting kind of caught up in the wash, right? That is his block. He lets the block come to him. He's not that aggressive, but then do we now? Maybe we need to know that they're filling in quickly, and we need to call in one of our wide receivers to make that block on that DB because that's the second time that number eight's been able to do that, right? Typically, when you see if this guy were to come into the box, Dak will call in George Pickens or call over CeeDee Lamb and say, "Hey," he will point to this guy, say, "Hey, you block him. That's your block." But because he's this far off, a lot of teams have a 7 to 8 yard rule. So if he's within 7 yards, they will call the wide receiver in. But because of where he is, Dak's not calling in a wide receiver to help, and he's able to get to the running back unabated. On this play, I feel like Dak was a tick late. So if this ball's out here instead of this hesitation, see this hesitation is what gives this the DB that's on CD Lamb the chance to get back and make a play because he made the right throw, but at the wrong timing. At this point, your only throw is actually Jalen Tolbert. And you're gonna see the hesitation probably better from this angle. Throw the ball, throw the ball. See, this is where you missed that throw, and it was almost an interception. We were lucky to get away without a turnover on that one. Dak Ross off the spot again. We did have flags on the play. Did we have a hold? And you see Guyton. Guyton gets beat again. Steele gets beat again. Both of them beaten badly. Let's take a look. Guyton in space. Here you go. Guyton's in space. We're doing our vertical set again. And I mean, these things are going to be asked of linemen, but I don't know. I think you really need to scheme up a way to do this better. Guyton struggles here. And I've heard linemen say that this is the hardest for him. I think it was Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas said he typically used 45-degree sets, 45 sets. And there are linemen who have spoken about how much harder this is than other sets. Joe Thomas, in fact, I believe he said that he used to use 45s most of his career because vertical sets are more difficult. And if that's the case, and Tyler Guyton's more comfortable, maybe we need to get him doing some 45s. No, Terrence Steele's going to get tossed and beaten on the inside, and Guyton's going to get beat on the outside. So we created another situation now where Dak has to step up and get away from these rushers because our tackles are not getting the jobs done. Third and 9, we're empty with a motion, come back out. We want to. This one was just to determine what the coverage was. Now, what we're going to do here, because you have two dog receivers, right? You have two alpha receivers. You're going to go ahead and put the defense in a bind. So you'll see initially, these safeties need to focus their attention out here. So what do? You tell everybody else to run in breaking routes and you allow Dak to choose the best one of them and let that thing rip. And that's exactly what happens. See a safety? This safety, he's shifting this way. He's about to jump back because he's watching Dak's eyes. This safety jumping this way. But this is all the time you need. Look at this space. You got two guys coming into this area. This is all the time and space you need. This rep is already won. Dak just has to make the right call. Terp is your winner. And it makes sense because this DB gets closer to the play than this DB. Dak made the right choice. That is an NFL quarterback pass, by the way. It still isn't an easy pass, right? I'm probably gonna miss that 11 times out of 10, right? But Dak's able to get this thing in there, and please do know Dak is an amazing quarterback. Like Cowboy fans, sometimes we hear a lot of complaints about Dak. There are teams in the league that would take this guy off your hands quicker than you lost Michael Parsons. I promise you. I'm not saying he's better at his job than Mike is at his job, but I'm saying a quarterback of Dak's caliber is harder to find than any player at any position of any caliber. Quarterbacks aren't easy to come by. Anyway, that's my little bit on Dak. Get the ball out quick. This was our botched attempt at a 2-minute drill. There isn't a whole lot to say here, but we'll take a look at the plays. The protection was good enough for what we needed because that ball was always coming out hot. Again, ball's coming out hot. A minute left on the clock. It's a good pass to Tolbert. Good catch by Tolbert. Get out of bounds. These are the things you need. Absolutely brilliant, right? And then who was it? Was it my man Ferguson who went out of bounds going backwards? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. We'll see though. There's no hiding from replay. Not on All-22. Here goes Javonte. Javonte just trucks dudes. This gets tiring for defenses. You don't want to have to deal with somebody slamming the shoulder pad through your face every rap, yo. I love Javonte, man. Oh, wait a minute. Why not just take another look at that up close, right? Just deck him. Come on, come get some 21. Come on. There you go. And going forward, see? So the clock stops. These are things that these players know. I'm pretty sure it was Big Jake who did not go out of bounds correctly. 45 seconds to play. Act with that ball's on a rope. Right here, when we were in this position, I'm looking and saying, oh, there's no way we're not going to get a field goal. This was absolutely marvelous. Now, when we made this pass, I'm sure you're with me, Cowboy Nation. When we completed this pass, I thought we were almost certainly going to be getting a field goal out of this possession. That was a beautiful pass and a great route. Cavante Turpin is running some amazing routes this year. Quite important considering the fact CeeDee Lamb's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Lucky that was intercepted. All right. There you go, everybody. All right, we got a miss. 15 seconds, 3rd and 10. Here was Ferg's opportunity, and he blew it. Just casually walk out of bounds, going backwards. Don't stop the clock. Come on, Ferg, you gotta know better. Gotta know better. That's the end of the first half, effectively, right? So on to the third quarter. We got the quarter started on the center. Heavy look. I don't know. Spacing? I mean, our run game was working out enough that you probably are convinced that we're about to run it first and 10 with this heavy personnel. But I don't know if spacing is the concept that I would have leaned on in that situation. In either case, second and 10. Mike Jack. Now I want to look at that route again. I'm sorry, I want to look at the protection there again before I look at the route, because it was BB who eventually got beat. So I want to look at the tackles and see. It looks like they held up. Here we go. We're going to come back and look from the other angle. But you're going to see now, Tyler Guyton does a jump set here. So he's not in space. He's not on an island. He gets his hand on somebody immediately, and he's able to do his job. Terrence Steele set vertically and was successful. See, so Steele, mind you, Steele's hands are outside, which is no man's land, but he doesn't struggle as much as Guyton. They both do struggle, but Guyton much more so. I think that this wrap, however, the route itself, I think you want CD getting cross face before he makes this move, as opposed to trying to get around him, because you're just putting yourself in a bad position. If you try to get around him, you gotta beat him to the spot, and he didn't do that. So the conversation about whose fault the interception is, two persons were wrong on this play. CD was wrong for the way he ran his route, the lack of execution. But as they said in, it was a preseason game. It was a preseason game when Joe Milton threw a bomb to, I want to say it was Jonathan Mingo, and it was intercepted. Jesse Harley on broadcast said, "You do not reward receivers for running bad routes." At the end of the day, Dak shouldn't have thrown this ball. You do not reward wide receivers for running bad routes. If anything, maybe you could have thrown that to George Pickens or found a way to get rid of it, dump it off underneath. Ferguson looked like he had some room to operate, but CD did not deserve that ball thrown at him. And you escape it, not giving up any points. So, first and 10. Almost like the third quarter just started over. There goes our favorite motion, right? This is the one we discussed earlier. We saw it a few times. Now, we're coming from this position, but we're still doing the same thing. Motioning back and getting this block. There you go. Beautiful. Absolutely. The Cowboys are incorporating this, and they're incorporating it masterfully. Motion, go back out, get the block. Now let's see how the rest of these blocks develop. Double teams all land. That's a greatly executed run. Everybody's where they need to be. See your single blocks, your double teams, and he's gonna kick out and get this guy here. And Javonte just puts his head down and picks up the yards out of there. Now, I'm sorry, it's Miles Sanders. It wasn't Javonte. I'm glad that he just put his head down, picked up his 4 yards. That boy is fast. This is how I want to see him run when he gets the ball in space. Just let it rip. I think sometimes when you dance around and play around a little bit, you're making it easy on the slow guys, relatively slow guys, Let's be clear. I'm not calling anybody in the NFL, the big men included. Did you see Jordan Davis? I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, yeah, the big dudes, they're all fast. But Cavante Turpin is stupid fast. And when you're stupid fast, you got to take advantage of it. So here we go. This exact same. We're in trips, right? This was the trick play earlier, right? We're in trips. On the trick play, we faked this. We turned around and we threw it back here for a screen. This time we're actually going to run it. And for those of us who question, I actually posted this on X earlier this week. For those of us, myself included, I'm raising both hands, who question why the homie Hunter Henry isn't getting more snaps. Watch this block. Dare I call it a block? Watch this attempt at a block. And nope. This is why Hunter Lemke, I might have called him Hunter Henry a little while ago. If I did, please forgive me, because I almost did it just now. But this is probably the reason the coaches aren't giving him a ton of snaps yet. Just a guess. So yeah, that was a great tackle. Good for you, number two. But Hunter's got to blow this dude up. You have him dead to rights. You have to make this block. Miles Sanders is still in the game. Miles Sanders does not pick up the block, but that gets it out in time. Again, look at how Guyton does when he's not asked to drop back and get on that island. He does a much better job in pass protection. Watching you, Guyton. Watching you. Giving you your flowers. There he goes. Look at that. See? He gets his hands on. He's able to fight. So, would he be better as a guard? I don't know. I don't know. But I do see the ability to do the things that guards need to do. Can you scheme a way to keep him at tackle? Absolutely. You just saw it, right? Do more of that. That's much ado about nothing. But again, I don't mind seeing the trickery at all. I do enjoy knowing that the coaches are at least breaking out all the crayons and trying all the things. You iron out these kinks. Hopefully your screen game starts to look better as the season wears on. Giving my man a chance. Oh, this is when we started drawing all those pass interferences, right? I mean, why not? If they're gonna call it, you gotta go up there and toss this thing. Toss it, inside fade. Sure. Got bunch, motioning. So we are doing our motion and inserting. Remember, we've been doing a lot of the motion and inserting tight ends, inserting fullbacks in our power run. We're gonna go ahead and use a wide receiver who, need I remind you, was blasted from the north to the south pole last week for a block that he did not execute against the Philadelphia Eagles. But he came here and did the only thing that was required of him. He did enough, right? And then Javante just, we're going to watch the three things with Javante, right? We're going to watch the patience, we're going to watch the vision, and we're going to watch, here he goes, patient. Yep. And we're going to watch finish. He keeps those legs running, right? So you got to love what you're seeing out of Javante Williams. Let's dial it back. So you got to love what you're seeing out of Javante Williams. we are going to pause right there. So we're gonna get our wham. We're gonna get our wrap, and our wrap is gonna end up landing at number 2, right? And then Javante is just gonna do the rest. Here comes wham. Beautiful, right? Seagat, wrap. And look at Javante. He just gets small through the hole. They talk about getting small through the hole. This is getting small. But the vision. Get small, expect contact, keep your legs moving. And then 27, you don't stand a chance. Javante was having himself a game. He's having himself a season, actually, isn't he? I imagine we'll see a little bit more of him with CD out, but you also got to imagine defenses are probably going to give us heavier boxes with CD out. So it's the whole cat and mouse. Play action, get that going. Fake the end around, fake the run. Yeah, got a bunch going on. We'll run that. How this man finds these yards is just beyond me. Beyond me. What made him cut it back? Because this is your. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. We're doing duo again, right? So let's count them out. 1, 2, 3. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's say you are 1. You're going to be 2. So you're going from there to there. You're 3, so you belong to the center. 1. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, that's not correct, is it? That's not correct. You're 2. You're working up here. Didn't see him there. That's yours, right? We're probably going to have Tolbert do something about 22. What's going on with 8? Because he's been messing with my run game for quite a long time. Let's take a look. Okay, there go your double teams. We're reading this linebacker, right? Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. See, what's supposed to happen is this linebacker scrapes this way, Javante runs that way. The linebacker feels this way, Javante runs that way. I missed it from the other angle. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Good stuff. Too bad George Pickens was in place to make a better block. Let's see what happened with Pickens. Oh, Pickens is trying to get to 27. Yeah, he was never going to get there from that angle. So this is what we talked about with the wide receivers, right? Now, perhaps Dak left him here because he thought, maybe he can get there. But do you want somebody more of a sniffer position to take a different angle on 27 here? That's a question. Running the screen. 2 backs. Split back. Again, I'm hoping our screen game does start to look a little bit better. It's varied. We see a lot going on, but we're not seeing a lot of success as yet. And you really want to start seeing some success. We're 3 games in now. I think we should have been able to work out some of the kinks. Got a lot going on before the snap, keeping the defense guessing. Stress them out a little bit. Look at this, motion into empty. to bring him right back in to help block. I'm enjoying some of these little nuances in the pass game. I really am. Because you could have just kept him here to block, right? But you're getting a read on what the defense is doing. He's coming back in, he's blocking. It's a free play too, right? So it could just be that, hey, snap the ball, let's go. All right, we're trying to keep this ball moving. 17-16. Yeah, everything was covered up top. Take what the defense gives you. See, so you see there. Let's see. Dak motioned in CD and pointed somewhere. Okay, so motioning in CD, pointing out somebody. Probably wants him to get a block for the run. Okay. Suppose if the run would have come this direction, CD would have been made to block. But this is what we were talking about earlier, the call and the point. No zone action. It's blocked up nicely again. Get through there, pick up a couple yards. Nobody got to the second level, but it was blocked up nicely on the first level. Third and 5. Letting it rip. Flags, flags. George Pickens has been responsible for more defensive pass interference yards than probably anybody else in the league this year, especially in this one game. First and 10. We're playing with tempo. We're getting our blocks. We're reaching. No gain on the play. Bunch below. Motion. This fake jet, it was only half-hearted. So this isn't gonna fool anybody really. Well, I'll be honest. It looked like who was that? Somebody was running on it. This guy right here. Yeah, he was out. He was all the way out. Now, do you give yourself a chance where you make this a two read? Because you're faking here, right? Are we not making this other read? Are we not even glancing up at Pickens here? Because we are so used to, as Cowboy fans and as defensive coordinators, seeing this throw from Dak. So much so that we're leaving this alone. And if Pickens gets this ball right here, he has a world of opportunity. He's not getting to the end zone most likely, but he's getting a big game. He's getting you your 10 yards. Yeah, we gotta be able to make this a two read thing, and that's the only purpose of Pickens is to draw coverage. But it's such a fast route, it's such a quick route, and it's right in the middle of the field, the quarterback's view. We should be telling him, yo, just glance up there, just take a quick peek. Oh yeah, right. False start. Third and 16, starting the fourth quarter. This is exactly the position you want to be in, right? Dak trying to get a better look at the picture. Dak does a lot of these cerebral things at the line. There aren't but a handful of quarterbacks who are as good at the line as Dak is. And there aren't but a handful of quarterbacks who are as good as escaping these behemoths as Dak is. But Dak's not going to go ahead and get 16 yards of his legs at this point in his career. Good job just staying alive, not getting decapitated. And we're going to be on to the next one. He had fairly good protection. We got Guyton. Let's see what happens. Guyton is who ends up getting beaten. Guyton's out here on his island. Oh, so here's what happened. This was actually something that I posted earlier in the week. The problem with Guyton on this one, you're gonna see, and this is one of the problems Joe Thomas actually mentioned. Was it Joe Thomas? I can't remember. I think it was Joe Thomas. He said when you have to do this vertical set, because you're waiting so long for the defender to engage, some of the typical struggles that you can see are evident here. Your hands are gonna get low. You see Guyton's hands? Guyton needs to have these hands up and prepared for contact. His hands are low. Look, and as he's bringing them up, look at where they are. He's flapping like a bird. You're opening your chest up to the defensive player. So the defensive player is about to get his hands on the inside, and that's when you have control. So see Guyton's hands are on the outside. The defensive player managed to get his hands inside. He's in control of Guyton right here. He's in full control, and you're going to see it. Push back, get off me, slapped on your hands, and I'm after your quarterback. So this wasn't Guyton's worst rep in space when he was using the vertical set, but it was bad. So there's a whole lot of teach tape. So I hope they're sitting him down in the film room and saying, big fella, this is what we got to do. But at the same time, I would like it if you just kept him out of this situation a little bit more than you are right now. All right, so on to the next drive. Did I mention that Javonte Williams is a patient running back? I know I did. The patience he displays is just it's great to see. It's great to see. He's a very disciplined young back, and I say young because he is still young. So he sees these blocks develop, and you see your linemen's jerseys. That's what you want to see. They're on the right side of their blockers, except for one. My boy Tyler Guyton. What's going on here, Guyton? Guyton should be doing a cutoff, right? He absolutely missed. Guyton absolutely missed and allows this dude into the backfield. So Javonte has to tiptoe dance and do a little ballerina act just to gain a couple of yards. Turn it into a 3-yard gain. That's admirable. All right, Dak with a dump off. Not much to see there. Trips to the top of the screen with a motion. Make that quad. Oh, that was Dak's dime. So if we're gonna complain about some of the dangerous throws Dak makes, we have to live with those if we're gonna be excited about some of the darts. This was an absolute dart. And how did our protection look? How did our tackles look? Yeah, see that ball came out before Guyton got engaged. So he didn't have any struggles on that one. Still has his hands on his defender. He was in holding territory, but he did a good job holding up just long enough for Dak to do what Dak needed to do. That pass. Yeah, that pass is off 6 inches in either direction. We're all mad at Dak. I want you to know that. That was a very, very tight window. Great pass, Dak. Here goes that pitch that has been successful for us. And this was Miles Sanders doing a good job of not losing more yardage because he was met in the backfield immediately. I'll give Miles his flowers when they're due. I will. And it's not that I dislike Miles. I just dislike some of his decisions. So a loss of one. Miles still in the game. Flag on the play. I think this flag was on the defense. Yeah, 1st and 10. Giants 24. No, wait a minute. Let's look at this route. CD's the middle of the trips receivers at the top of the screen. Okay, yeah, he beats him to the corner, and he's gonna flatten that out. So Dak actually leads this ball in a spot for CD to flatten out his route. He leads him away from the deep safety. Dak's a smart quarterback. Oh boy, what happened with the run blocking on this one, huh? Fast motion. Oh, nobody's accounting. Nobody's accounting for 57. Okay, 89 is supposed to get over there and make that block. He did a poor job. This, I'm just going to throw my body at you and hope you fall style of blocking is probably why he doesn't get more reps. He's a very athletic tight end, and I mean, it was fun watching him at the end of the Bears game, but this isn't this isn't going to get you reps. Not at all. Does he have arms? I like this quick completion. I like CD on a slant route. You can call it the Michael Thomas route if you want, but I like CD on the slant route 10 times out of 10. And then Pickens going to run the same route. Two quick slant routes, 2nd and 12 turns into 1st and 10, right? So do what works. This also now is going to put your tackles in a position where they're not protecting for long, right? You got to do things that are going to protect your offensive line. Because if you protect your offensive line, you protect your quarterback. If you protect your quarterback, you protect your pass game. I love the physicality of our run game right now. I can't say it enough. And that's Miles Sanders churning those legs out. Miles does a good job keeping his legs moving on contact. He does. So, get a little zone run. Coop's just going to look at Coop. Just throw this guy out of the hole. Boom. See you later. We're going to miss CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb's an amazing wide receiver. We're going to miss Tyler Booker, and it sucks not having a rookie in all 17, just getting his reps. But Cooper Beebe, man, personally, Cooper Beebe is going to be the biggest miss. The biggest miss. I'm looking forward to studying the Bears tape in a couple of minutes when I finish this tape to see how Brock Hoffman looked. Oh man, this is it. I know you saw it. Look, we're gonna get motion, insert. There are two blockers. 89 did a good job blocking on this one too. Wham wham. This is beautiful. And this is one. Now, this is the answer to the issue, right? Because now, and we saw this on, I want to say at least two runs last week. Instead of having, sorry, on those runs where we were having issues, we didn't have a tight end, mind you, but we had these two men blocking in here. And we had our wham getting that C gap defender. This we're gonna be looking at the D gap this time, and then we had our puller climbing up to the second level to get that first second level defender. Something we saw a couple times last week, and we're gonna see on this play, is that we're gonna let our tight end go ahead and get the first second level defender. We're gonna let our wham come in, replace him, and get the block in the C gap, and then now 73 is free to come up and get whoever decides to try to shoot down and ruin this play, as we saw twice already this game. So let's see it in action. See, 89's climbing. So 89, like we said, he's climbing. And there's going to go your C gap. And you still have 73 coming around to lead you through the hole in case there's any other mess, perhaps from 49, right? Beautiful. So you can see you're making adjustments based on what the defense is doing to you. And that was a great adjustment. And now we're in air it out territory. This was this was when the game really started to get wild. It was no defense allowed, right? And this can be a test for your tackles, right? This can be an extreme test for your tackles because we know you're dropping back to pass it. So we're pinning our ears back and we are coming at you full steam. I like this rap for Guyton, mostly because they didn't put him in position to fail. This is more of a 45. So less space, hands on the defender quicker, and we're able to be a positive impact on the game. All right, fourth down. This was a huge fourth down. And the fact that this ball was thrown to Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Tolbert made this catch. How wild was that? That was crazy. Second and 10. World of time on that one. But of course, you're seeing max coverage now. So as long as the offensive line holds up, Dak has time. But does he have targets? There goes that slant route. Listen, the slant route's winning. You got two receivers who are really, really adept at running that slant route. Oh yeah, CD was out route. Oh, I mean, he had him beat so badly. That could have threw that ball twice. And gets out of bounds with no problem. Whoo wee. We're hurdling people. I tell you what though, when I saw this hurdle, I wondered if it didn't make sense to bounce this. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't know. Do we not try to beat this guy and just get to the outside instead of hurdle him? Because if you're taking a path behind Jalen Tolbert, right? I mean, maybe you're worrying about this guy peeling off. I don't know. It was a great run. I worry when I see that, especially given the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, our run game is very reliant on Javante Williams not being injured. So it's great, but I really don't like to see the hurdles. I'm not a fan of it, especially if it's not open field. I hurdle this one guy and I'm gonna pick up another 5 to 10 or more yards. If you're gonna hurdle and then immediately go down, unless it's the difference between a first down and not, or a touchdown and not, don't hurdle. That's just my take on it. So you see we're motioning in the wide receiver to be a part of this power run game again. Doing a lot of pulling with Smith. Smith is getting a lot of those duties as a pulling lineman, blocking on those power runs. And then this throw, that's your quarterback. Beautiful. That is your quarterback. Let's see what the offensive line did. Hey, you did your jobs. And then the Giants scored again. Unreal. This game, 19 seconds. But when you got Butter, I mean, it's a little bit unfair when you have Brandon Aubrey as your kicker. What a weapon. Well, that almost ended the game right there, though, didn't it? Are the Giants mad at themselves for making this so easy? That's a whole lot of coverage to allow that easy pitch and catch. And what is it that you can convince me had the attention of this linebacker so long? Oh, he was looking for an in-breaking route up here. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm not mad. I was trying to figure it out. So when your kicker is good enough that the ball is at the 49-yard line, and you know we can just run it and gain a yard or two and be close enough. That's that's a hell of a luxury to have. Most other teams are still trying to throw this thing for another 15 yards. We pick up three more and said, Butter, go ahead, do your thing. And did he not? Y'all don't mind watching this kick again, right? Of course not. And look at how cool he is. Just like, yeah, good stuff. I got other things to do with my life. Let's see it again. It's Butter. Butter makes it better. What's that? Was that a popcorn commercial? I can't remember. Overtime. Moving off the spot, moving the launch point. Sprint out action. See, I love all of these things. I love all of these things. Again, you're moving the launch point. You're protecting your offensive line. You're protecting your quarterback. Protecting your offense. Dirty bunch motion. Again, we're now using the receivers in this power block scheme, right? And it's Jalen Tolbert a lot. He's not doing bad. He's not doing badly at all. But this is a cool way if you're trying to figure out why exactly would we be doing this. This is a cool way to get to this power run out of 11 personnel, right? Because you still have your tight end on the line of scrimmage. So you're running to a three-man surface, tight end included, and you're able to run a power scheme because you're inserting a wide receiver as that wham. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Dump off. Great job. Pick. See, this is what we need to do. Just get the ball, turn up field, get yardage. That's all it's about right now, right? So this is actually an absolutely great job taking what's there, getting the most out of it. And this just fell apart. This fell all the way apart. What happened to Terrence Steele on this play? How did he get beat so badly? He must have been laid off the snap because Terrence Steele isn't weak. Oh, did he trip? It looks like he tripped. Like he just caught Spanford's foot. Yeah. They didn't call the hold. A lot of times they call a hold in that situation. And then the botch snap. So we're watching this right now, right, Cowboy fans? And we're watching this and we're saying, are we gonna lose? Right? 3rd and 10. And this was Dak doing Dak things. What a throw. Um, the questions about why are we throwing to Tolbert are legit because you got CD, you got Pickens, you got all sorts of reasons. Jake Ferguson to throw to anybody else or to design a play for anybody else. He's not wide open. It's a challenging catch to make anyway. So why not one of the other receivers? But anyway, that was what was decided, and it didn't work out. We were lucky enough to get the ball back. We did our jobs and got the ball back. It wasn't a luck. We did our jobs. We got the ball back. Although it does feel like luck when this defense makes a stop. Now we take a sack. And we have time. So let's see. We don't have anything. Yeah. And it looked like Dak needed a split second more to let this ball go. We're here. Pickens is open right here. Yeah, he would have had him. He would have had him. Not a whole lot to be mad about, though. And this was just a great effort by George Pickens. He catches this ball and he fights. His effort's been better. His effort's been better. This was awesome. Yeah. But 2nd and 29. Flag on the Cowboys. So, as we attempt to lose the game, 3rd and 10. And again, going to Jalen Tolbert for the game to keep the game alive, to keep hope alive. Very questionable decision making. Once again, the defense made us stop. The defense that couldn't stop anything the whole second half made 2 stops in overtime. This is what these are the reasons you gotta love this game, right? You gotta love this game. And this pass and catch, because you have Brendan Aubrey on your team, was when you knew the game was over. The Cowboys would be victorious. Because all you need to do is be a couple yards past half. To be honest, at midfield, I'm comfortable with Butter kicking the ball if he has to. But right here, man, get out of here. They should make him kick it left-footed when he gets this close. So now you just take what you can. There's no reason to force anything. So we did get a little risky here. But look at my man Dak. Look at Dak. Ooh. That's because I told him he couldn't run 16, 17 yards. He wanted to shut me up, right? I deserved it. I deserved it. That was as good a first down celebration as you're going to get. Look at that go. Look at that go. Well, you had better put this one in the highlight reel because you're not going to see too much more out of Dak. And the game winner. Number 17. The game winner. Absolutely wonderful. Business as usual.